his wife. But obviously, I could see him happier. Came to the US with a lot of dreams. He has a lot of potentials. That potentials will be unleashed if you are next to someone who gives you support. Here.
You know, friends are supposed to be here for all the good reasons. You know, some of those reasons are to protect us. Some of them reasons are to warn us. And some of the reasons are to support us. Okay? But friends aren't here to take us down. They're definitely not here to talk down to our partner, the person that we decide to marry, be in a relationship with. Especially if they know that person is good for us. Now, of course, if they feel like that person isn't good for us, is it okay for a friend to maybe say a few things just to give you a heads up or whatnot? No, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you decide to still want to proceed in that relationship with that person, but then in that point, all your friend can do is support you in your choice and then be there for you if things go south. This guy right here isn't a friend. He's just somebody that's hell-bent on proving a point that I don't think even he's aware of himself. I feel like he's at that point now where he's just waffling more and more and more nonsense. But the maddest thing is, the more nonsense he waffles, he's just doing it as a broken record. He comes in with all these accusations about Stevie, but comes with no proof. How are you coming with accusations time and time again without no proof? Now, don't get me wrong, when the season was going on, the friend's reaction, the friend's perception of Stevie was Marty's fault, because he's the one that told his friend negative things about his woman. And that's where Marty completely messed up. But since then, Marty has continued to still go ahead with marrying Stevie. He's even now got a green card, and he's even now working, okay? So he's the one that's gone ahead and continued the relationship with her anyway. At that moment in time, the friend should have been like, okay, cool. You told me certain things about her. I tried to address it and help you with it, but you just still decided that you wanted to stay with her. So you know what? I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to support you. And if anything goes south, then I'm going to be here. But instead of doing that, he's now still hell-bent on this mission. Like, who assigned you this mission? What are you looking to benefit here? You can't change someone's mind who's made their mind up. You see what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if Marty wants to be with Stevie, then let him be with Stevie, and that's that. These are the type of people that are not your friends. Don't have them in your life. Trust me. The kind of people that if you become a millionaire, trust me when I tell you, they will switch up on you and then try and tell you that you switched up on them. Yeah, let that one sink in.
What is he doing? I mean, who is going to pay for a personal trainer in Mississippi?
Support a friend the whole time. You've been here for 10 years, and you could have helped him figure out how to assimilate.
Honestly, listen, I've never necessarily been a fan of Veronica, but right there I was. You've been here for 10 years. You could have easily allowed this guy to, get used to the culture. You could have just taught him about the American way, something that could have aided him to have a life in the USA a bit quicker, a bit better, okay? Especially given what Marty says later on, which we will get into.
That you could go live with him and you didn't tell me that?
I mean...
And you still communicate with him?
A couple of months ago.
And you never told Stevie?
I was like thinking that maybe he's saying you all can come, stay here.
Bruh, come on now. Obviously, the problem with Marty is that he is the problem. He is the creator of his own problems. He told his friends certain things, create that problem. In this situation here, he's obviously not told her something, create that problem. Now, of course, Stevie, obviously, her biggest fault was not answering a simple question, are you bi or not? You see what I'm saying? But apart from that, Marty, he's his own problem.
I thanked them, but I didn't say yes or no, so I just said, yeah, thank you so much.
If you knew me and knew how I do not allow people to get close to me, you would know that I sacrificed everything by allowing him to step foot into my house because I could have gotten more than broken, but
To be honest with you, to say that she didn't sacrifice more than him is... Without any evidence of that, no information of that, that's a ludicrous statement to make, you know what I mean? Because this is a woman that is a mother, you know what I mean? So therefore, she would have sacrificed, obviously understanding that her children are not going to be meeting a new man, that's a big thing for mothers that are good parents, you see what I'm saying? Of course, if they're not good parents, then it's a different conversation, right? But I'm going to go for something that she is a good parent because she even decided to hide her kids from TV, which is absolutely fantastic, you see what I'm saying? Highly respected for that. you know. And end of the day, you know, I'm pretty sure there's other things in her life that she had to shuffle around to also make a sacrifice. And to be honest with you, the other sacrifice that I guess all people make when somebody's moving to the country that you live in is that you're making a sacrifice to the fact that when you're working, all the money that you are now earning isn't just for you and your kids, or isn't just for you alone. It's now for you and the other person that you're adding into your mix until that person's actually able to work. Do you see what I'm saying? So there is also that financial burden to that sacrifice that somebody goes through. But again, though, this friend right here, so-called friend, everything that he's saying is literally just like, bro, calm the F down. Like, it's not your situation to be getting involved to this extent. You're just embarrassing yourself. You're making yourself look like a clown.
I pay my bills. I don't have to have Maddie to survive. I chose to have Maddie here because I wanted to be with him.
And to be fair, it's kind of similar to Jessica as they pan into Jessica, to be fair, with her looking down in a deep thought.
You said Stevie didn't make any sacrifices. In the first weeks and months that I was here, I was so depressed. She has done a lot. I think anyone in this world has helped more than Stevie.
And he didn't.
And this is when we go back to the friend situation, okay? You've had a friend that's been depressed this whole time. Whether he knew about it, I'm unsure. But you've got a friend that's been depressed the whole time. Instead of focused on how your friend is actually feeling, you'd be focused on targeting his woman. You should be focused on how to make him feel better, not how to target his woman, because that's not something that was gonna help him in any kind of shape or form. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, especially given the fact that he had no evidence behind it. So the friend realistically should have been there more for Marty, you know, trying to be the friend in this capacity rather than trying to be for him in the other capacity. But like I said before, that friend is a friend that is not a friend, but he's somebody that cannot be trusted. He's too hell-bent on trying to go after somebody else's woman. That's not right. That is weird. That is effed up. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts so far, okay? And if you're still here, which I know you are, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and now let's get into the next part of the tell-all.
Have kids eventually. Have you actively started trying?
She is.
Sounds like it.
So wait, does that mean that you two are not using protection now?
No, why?
Okay, interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, some cultures, when people get pregnant, you know, using a condom is not something that they do ever again. And to be fair, in some cultures, people just don't use contraception in general, to be honest with you. I believe, obviously, based on what she says, you know, obviously in her culture, when you're married, you don't use protection with your partner. If you have 10,000 kids, then you have 10,000 kids. If you have one, you have one. But I think, obviously, in their situation, having a child whilst living underneath his mum's roof, that's a mad call.
I mean, Joan could be pregnant now for all we know.
House, raising children again.
But nothing's going to stop me from trying to get a child. So disrespectful.
Nothing's going to stop me from trying to get a child. You know what the problem is, though, sometimes? Joan is one of these people that is stuck in her ways. You know, she's somebody who, when it comes to adapting to certain situation or compromising, is something that she's probably not good at, to be honest with you, okay? Because logically, does it make sense for them to get pregnant now? No. Because Greg is not in a position where he's been able to provide them a home. And from the way it seems, she's not even in a position where she's even allowed to work there neither, okay? So if you're bringing the child right now when your financial stability is not good, then what the hell are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, there is that logic, but at the same time, though, she comes from a life where men would have already had certain financial things already organized, you know, already to be, you know, to be established or whatever it could be. But of course, that's not the situation with Greg. And she knows it. She knows that she's not with the type of traditional man that she was raised around, men that she was around, okay? Obviously, when she was there in Uganda, the men that she was raised around, that she looked up to, aren't the same as Greg. Greg is somebody from a whole different country for starters, okay? With a whole different culture, okay? And a whole different upbringing, all right? And it just seems like there's been no way throughout this process where it felt as if she's tried to compromise for him. It just felt as if she's always tried to make him fast track himself to her standards, which on one side of it, that is a good thing for him because he really did need to pick up and start to, you know, do things quicker than what he was doing before. But before, Lucille was letting him relax for way too long. So he definitely needed the kick out the backside that she was giving without a shadow of a doubt. But he can be, but is it really wise for him to always be in a position where she's always been like, well, you've now got to do this, you've now got to do that? Because that means the pressure's always mounting and mounting and mounting and mounting and mounting. And that's how some men like him and some men, you know, end up being in depression or end up feeling like life is too much or whatever, or they start to feel unheard or start to feel as if, you know, their emotions aren't cared for. Okay, what they want doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, And this is something that's been common in a lot of relationships for so many years, okay? And that's why women ask, why do men never speak up? Why do men go so silent? Because if you're dealing with a woman, potentially like the way Joan is portraying herself, somebody that's very like me, like, you must have the home ready. You must have ready. You must have that ready. You must have this ready. And in the whole time, she's not even actually contributing anything. It's like it's like his whole purpose is just to work for her services. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, and that's not cool, because the conversation that should be had between the two is, okay, I know I've asked you to do this, so this is what I'm gonna do, or whatever. You need to have a conversation that allows you to both understand each other's role and how you're going to support each other. Okay, it doesn't have to be a role of necessarily, okay, we're both going 50-50. I'm not talking about the financial aspect of things specifically, try things in general. So even if you are with a man that is the provider of everything and you are a traditional housewife or whatever, okay, there are certain things in that conversation that you both obviously have together, though, that allows you to both understand what you are both, no, I don't want to use the term bring to the table, but something that both helps you understand that you are both offering, you know, your services in different ways to each other. Okay, you're both giving back to each other. You're both giving back to your relationship, not just, okay, well, I want kids, we're gonna do it now. We haven't moved that, but we're gonna do it now. Okay, I'm pregnant now. We must get a place before. Now you got 9 months to get us a place before I deliver. You know, and then the kid comes. Okay, I've got the kid now. Now I need, you know, you need this, and that. You need to now go and do this. Like I said, her pushing him to get a job and her pushing to put him in a position of responsibility is a brilliant thing. But where does the compromise come into place? You know, where does the balance come into place? You see what I'm saying? Because I think I've said what I've said anyway. I probably repeat myself 10 times. I just felt like I wasn't getting out what I was trying to say properly, and I still don't feel like I've got out what I was trying to say. But hopefully you get what I mean. But let's continue.
Because you just said after she told you she's not comfortable with a new family starting in the house, you just said that there's no reason for you to use protection.
It's also fine with it.
But
Yeah, because obviously for her, you know,
you shouldn't be fine with it. As a woman to another woman, you shouldn't be fine with that.
What?
This is her house.
You have a right to decide if I have to get pregnant or not.
Yes.
Let her say it, not you.
She did just say it to you, and your
By the
response
time
was
I
that you'll
get
get pregnant if
pregnant,
you want to.
I'll be out of the house.
the way she was like, so you get to decide if I get pregnant or not. That's I can't even hate on that question though. So you're trying, but there you go. See, she said by the time I get pregnant, we'll be moved out of the house. Now the question is though, is that moved out of the house on the expectation that Greg gets the money together, or an expectation that you both will be working? Because understand that if it's expectation of them both be working, that's not a good one necessarily, because that means she'll be in work for a short period of time just to save to get out, and then once she's pregnant, obviously she'll have maternity leave or whatnot, but we don't know if the finances that they would then have will be sustainable for him to carry on after they give birth. Because I've got a strong feeling that once she gives birth, she won't want to go straight back to work like within the maternity leave phase or whatever. She's probably going to want to be a stay-at-home mom for a couple of years, you know, which is completely fine. So realistically, if they want to do this thing, it has to be more based on Greg make sure that he's got his finances together to serve both of them. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if that isn't a thing, well then they're the problems, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. I feel like she's going to be one of these partners where it's always going to be one thing after the other. Greg, do this, he does it. Now do this, he does it. Now do that. Do you know what I mean? And where is the point where he gets to have his fresh air? But hey, Greg signed up for it, so it is what it is. YOLO.
So calm.
Then use protection.
Calm yourself down, okay?
Girl, I am calm. You look a little riled up. Use protection while you're in her house.
I'm not. What are you going to do?
To have kids eventually.
I'm not. What are you gonna do? Joanne was definitely out to have a war. She definitely was out to, you know, to trade blows with Shekinah in that situation. I mean, to be fair with you, end of the day, should have Shekinah got involved? Well, it's to tell all, so I guess so. You know, that's what everybody's there for, to get involved in other people's businesses. And Lucille obviously wasn't going to speak of herself in that kind of manner, so I guess somebody had to. So I guess it was kind of a good thing she kind of did speak up, you know. But Joanne obviously is a woman that does not back down from anything. She's a woman that will stand on her business. And that is someone that's very challenging to go up against, especially if she's like, calm down. Yeah. And then she's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to get pregnant no matter what, so what are you going to do about it? Yeah, that's someone that, you know, unless you're ready to start throwing arms and stuff, then there's no point in having that conversation. So to be fair, she kind of was wise and ended just to be quiet, because, boy, that conversation was going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere, because Joanne is one of those stubborn people who was stuck in her ways, just based on how she was raised, okay? And that's just that. Nonetheless, though, let's move on to the next one. Of course, I know you're still here, so hit the like button and subscribe. Come on now.
Actually, I kind of got pressure from like social media image.
You did it for the wrong reason.
What are your reasons?
My reasons are I wanted to change certain things that bothered me. So those are two very different things.
To be fair, for Amani to come out and to sit there and tell us that she got all this work done because of social media pressure, I sat there and I said to myself, isn't this a woman who's always represented herself as a strong-ass woman? Has that bad B? So for somebody that's represented herself that way on social media anyway, at least, why would she then do something because of social standards? It made no sense. And of course, in the same conversation, she had to take a jab at Shekinah and approach say that that's why you and I are the same. And Shekinah says, nah. I didn't get them done because of pressures from outside. I got them done because I had things that I just wanted to personally fix myself. To be honest with you, regardless of the reasons that they both have, neither one of them has reasons that, in my opinion, is good enough. Especially given the fact that Shekinah is under the knife like all the time with her face. But nonetheless, though, that is just the beginning of that conversation in this video, in this little segment that we're about to cover.
Anyways, I went and got a lot of surgeries, and after the surgery, I went through a huge identity crisis, to be honest.
Look like yourself, that's why you got the surgery, right?
Well, I don't want to lose who I am and not look like myself.
But then what was the point of getting surgery?
Rude.
I don't know what your problem
So is that Shekinah admitting that she got surgery, and once she got surgery, she then started to lose her identity? Or is that her saying that, well, I didn't get mine to lose my identity, I got mine to improve my identity, or whatever the hell she's trying to say here? Because obviously she then took a jab at Amani after that. So, but at the same time, are you supposed to get surgery to lose your identity? Or to enhance your looks? Like, what's the purpose? I guess that question is always going to be a killer one for people you ask, because I feel like even when we ask someone what's their purpose, only very few is going to give you an answer that we feel like, okay, that makes sense. Many people are going to give us answers where we are going to be like, yeah, you're just lying to yourself.
is.
Oh my God.
A message and said, I do really like you, but I'm sorry in advance for the things I'm going to say about you at the tell-all. For me, I don't plan what I'm going to say. I just am authentic to how I feel in the moment.
I mean, to be fair, though, obviously, Amani messaging Shekinah before the tell-all to say, hey, I'm giving you a fair warning. You would think that would be a good thing. Whew. I do apologize, folks. But at the same time, here's the thing. Question for you folks. Would you want to know whether or not somebody's going to question you at the tell-all? Actually, you know what? It doesn't even matter, because we know that the tell-all is all about cast members questioning each other. So to be fair, Amani definitely was wasting the time giving her the common courtesy. And also, anyone that gets offended at the tell-all is a complete fool, because the tell-all is there for everyone to get questioned. Do you know what I mean? Both for the good and bad. If you can't handle it, then just don't go on TV.
Premeditate kind of like to be mean to me was low.
Please don't take it too personal. Like, I tried to give her a heads up versus like coming in here and like being rude and bashing her like she is. She's just so thirsty for like screen time.
I don't know how someone can go to the tell-all without being premeditated, because they all watch the show and then they all go there with their own perspective of everyone's relationship, and they all go there ready to say what they were thinking when they were watching the show. So it's always going to be premeditated, to be honest with you, or am I missing something here? But nonetheless, though, is Shekinah always out there trying to get as much screen time as possible? Well, I'll let you answer that one.
You look like hypnotized, you know? With Amani, whatever she says, okay, right, I am fully supportive.
Explain yourself. What do you mean hypnotized? Because I want her to be happy?
I mean, it's her fantasy, right?
It's not a fantasy. Bisexuality is not a phase. I want to be with women, but I also love my...
First of all, to say that it's her fantasy is one hell of a statement. You can't say that it's a fantasy for someone to want to be with a woman if they know they like women. That's just wild. Yeah, that's just a ludicrous, comment. But also on second that, for him to then call out Matt, that's hilarious. Because if Shekinah said, hey, I want to bring a woman into this relationship, do you all believe that Sarpa would reject that offer? So for him to say that Matt's been hypnotized, nasty work. I mean, listen, I don't know any man. Actually, no. Tim is probably the only man that we know that would probably turn that offer down, to be honest with you. Yeah, Tim's the only straight man that would turn down that offer. Yeah, you know, but yeah, we continue.
My husband. Oh.
But then again, though, a wise man did once say that one woman is one problem, two women is two problems. Which therefore means there's two headaches. A wise man did say that once upon a time, to be fair. So maybe a wise man would be like, nah, I'm good with just my one woman. I would like to think that I'd be the wise man. But I mean, personally, would I be willing to put up with two people telling me their problems, two people complaining about X, Y, Z, two people then clashing, having to be the mediator? Oh boy, that's a lot of work, isn't it? I guess for Matt at the moment, the reason where he's kind of fortunate is that they don't all live in the same household at this moment in time. But yeah, no, one woman is more than enough. It's probably easy to have your one woman and then to have a side chick, to be honest with you, because they don't know about each other. So therefore, there isn't the back and forth between the two. You know what I mean? But when they know each other, there's the that's a headache. Obviously, but yeah. And to be fair, whether you got a side chick or you, so if you got a main woman, then you got a side chick. But then you got your woman and you got your other woman, they know each other, right? Are you more prone to your relationship going downhill and breaking up if your woman then finds out about your side chick? Or if the two women that you're with together both end up having disputes among each other and they say, you know what, F this, I'm out. I wonder what the percentages of that one. I ain't trying to give no one any ideas, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to think, to be honest with you, which one would be the more... I feel like the one that would be a bit more less draining, we maybe have a little side chick, you know what I'm saying, to be honest with you. I mean, the line will be draining as hell, but you ain't gonna worry with these two clashing. But if they're together and they're clashing left, right, and center, especially when you got Amani calling one a hoe and saying that you just dance for this and that, oh God, the calamity. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I want to know, do you think it'd be less of a headache if you had a woman and a side chick? Or if you had two women together? I would ask it in the reverse of having a man and a side man, but I don't feel like it's the same thing because men and women, we don't behave the same, you know what I mean? But if you want to answer it based on that, you can, or 100%. Is it easier to have a man and then have a side man that your man doesn't know about, or to have a man and another man in the relationship with and they all know each other? Considering that the politics may be the same across the board, but one may be less stressful than the other. But obviously one has the stress of lying. One has the stress of just seeing them both go back and forth every God knows how many times a day. Sorry. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. This is funny.
The only sex that goes on is between the three of you or between Matt and Ani.
Yeah, it seems like it always involves me.
Yeah.
To do it.
But let's be honest, you and Ani did say that I didn't have an ass, I didn't look attractive.
Wait.
I always hear the worst of it. We were concerned about her because she was not healthy anymore.
They sent me down like an intervention and they were like, well, you look too skinny.
So what I got from this is basically they're saying that Amani got to a point where she maybe wasn't eating as much calories as she would normally. And because she wasn't eating as much food as normal, she was obviously now losing weight. And therefore, she was just saying that because you're losing weight, you're now losing some of your figure. Us being one of those things. But Amani, on the other hand, is taking it in a whole different way. She's taking it as, oh, so these two are now saying that I'm basically unattractive and I ain't this and that. So therefore, I'm going to have to go and get an enhancement. And that's what it sounds like to me. And to be honest with you, that sounds more accurate than Amani's story, to be honest with you. So really and truly, she didn't go and get plastic surgery because of society. She went and got it because of, well, she didn't feel good enough within the relationship. Which, to be fair, does add up more, to be honest with you.
But they said, like, I didn't look attractive as I used to. And
That never got mentioned.
both said that I lost my ass.
That's what you presumed.
I'm ready to feel that way, especially my daughters. To me, plastic surgery is not a flex. You're going to get it, and then you're going to find more flaws and end up with 3 facelifts and 3 nose jobs or whatever.
Direct shots. But she's not lying, though. She's not lying.
Like, Shekinah, but she asked if Ani was trans and told me not to tell Ani, but of course I told her.
You're not trustworthy. I literally asked
My
you.
priority and my loyalty is to my boyfriend.
How can she say that she's not trustworthy? You asked her if her woman is trans, and you wanted her to not tell a woman that you asked that question. You're mad. So that means clearly you keep secrets away from Sapa. That's what it means. It means that Shekinah keeps secrets from Sapa. Anyway, this is about to go south.
Any woman here, if you were trans, would you be offended?
No, because I think trans women are beautiful.
Ask that question, ladies. Let me know in the comments section. If a man asked you or a woman came and asked and said, hey, are you trans? Would you be offended? Would you be offended? I want to know.
You clearly have a problem with trans people. Like, that's messed up.
The way she flipped it on Amani is ridiculous. How can you say that she's got a problem with trans people and you're the one that asked the question is Brenda trans? The fact that you wanted to ask if Brenda was trans is crazy alone, because it makes you wonder then, so what's it got to do with you? So what if she was? What's it got to do with you? You're not in their relationship. You see what I'm saying? And let's be real, if she was trans, it would have been revealed. Come on now.
But you tell me I am trans?
I didn't tell you were. I asked her.
Too. And you make new surgery for changing the face? You are the trans. Come
Ooh! You're the trans, you're the one that's always doing surgery to your face. Come on.
on, girl.
And then I think Aaliyah was like, To be honest with you, I don't really think Aaliyah, well, I mean, listen, some people may disagree with what I'm about to say. If you get offended, that's a you problem. I'm here to make content and speak my own truth. You know what I mean? I have no issues with nobody, and that's just that. But I still have opinions. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, though. I don't really feel like Aaliyah should really be in a position. I don't know if she will be in a position where she says something next week, because it wasn't previous as if she says anything. But I don't think that she should, personally. You know, because if I'm a biological woman now and I'm getting confused for being transgender, I will 1000% would be offended, because it would be concerning to me that you can't recognize that I am a 100% woman, okay? Now, on the flip side now, if I'm a trans woman, okay, and people can't figure out that I am actually trans, and they think that I am 100% a biological woman, I would say there's 100%, of course, compliment, because it means all the work that I've done has been great, all right? Okay? But at the same time, at the end of the day, if you're the trans woman, it makes sense for you to take the compliment because that's your goal. But if you are a biological woman, it's not going to make you feel comfortable because you have potentially been raised in your whole life to be in your feminine, do you know what I mean? To be as beautiful as possible and And now all of a sudden you're getting confused for a different gender or whatnot. Come on now. Yeah, I can definitely see this. So it's two different things because it involves two different people, two different types of people. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. Now, what's the other one? Yeah, no, I think I was going to say, yeah, so, but at the same time, though, with the comment that was made by Brenda saying that, well, you're the one that gets surgery, so you're the one that's more trans, Well, the matter of fact is that we know Brenda recently had a nose surgery. Now, we don't know if she's had any more surgeries or if she's had any before that. That could have been her only one, potentially. But I will say this, though, if you are somebody that does live their life like Darcy, like Stacey, like Shekinah, even the man in this particular moment, whatever, and you're always pretty much getting your face altered and whatnot, okay? Would it then be easier for you to be mistaken for someone that is trans? 1000%. Because, of course, for a trans woman to exist, that woman has to go through multiple surgeries. Don't know how many, depends on your genes and all that kind of stuff, right? To end up looking as feminine as possible. So if you are a woman who's a biological woman, you're doing all this stuff to your face, and to your body and all that kind of stuff, things that a man has to do to become a woman, of course, there could be an easy confusion. Now, if you get offended by it, being a biological woman has done so much altercation to your face, that's a you problem because you've done so much. So, you know what I mean? But if you are a natural woman, and somebody says that you're trans, that's ludicrous. I'd be hella offended. If I'm a natural woman, I'll be hella offended. If I'm not a natural woman, it is what it is, because at the end of the day, if you're a natural woman doing a whole... but if you're a biological woman and you're doing a whole lot of stuff to your face, you are technically competing with a man that's now transitioned to a woman. Do you see what I'm saying? Food for thought. Obviously people are going to have their own opinion, which is fantastic. Definitely look forward to hearing those. So let's get in the comment section and get that conversation going, do you know what I mean? But in no shape or form is my statements made in a way of offending. If you read it that way, that's a you problem too. But anyway, with that being said though, we're gonna move on to the next one now. So of course, if you're still here because you're enjoying the content and it's getting you typing, make sure you like the video, you subscribe, and we get into it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
The honeymoon was over really fast, and we actually didn't even have a honeymoon. We just still only have an engagement ring, so there's that.
So you're missing the wedding band.
Yeah, I know almost every fight. She reminds me that.
I'm blessed that when my wife married me, I put a stainless steel band around her finger.
It was like $100.
Not even. I mean, I'm privileged to be next to her today.
It's not about you guys this time.
Salpa was so butthurt. It's not about you guys. You just. But he made a very good point. He made a very good point. End of the day, when it comes to Salpa and Shekinah, their whole relationship is just a calamity of madness, a calamity of stupidity.
Talking about you.
Very.
I am always the control freak, so I have to control things. And when I don't control things, I feel depressed.
You know, at first I was like, oh, that's such a selfish type of comment. But I get it now. I get it now. You know, he's somebody that always has to be in control of his choices in life. You know, he has to be in control of the things that's happening. And I respect that, because there's a lot of us who need to feel the urge to be in control so we know where we are going, okay? If we allow someone else to control our lives and we don't know where we're going, it can definitely make some of us feel a bit anxious, and therefore that can then force us into a depressive state. So I get what he's saying. I do get what he's saying. Obviously, he's now in a relationship where trying to control the next move isn't something that he can do as easy as before, because he's now in a relationship with somebody who requires things from someone that is dependent on him. But the matter of the fact is, though, I would have thought that they would have discovered this whole dependent thing before marriage. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, their relationship was long distance. Obviously, the first time they were able to be together, obviously for a longer period of time, I guess, is obviously now in the States, which is obviously was for the 90 days. Unfortunately, within the 9 days, you have to get married, otherwise he has to go back, and then they're back doing the same thing again, where they're seeing each other, you know, sporadically, and you know, you're not really being able to really learn certain things about your partner, and not being able to learn if there's certain things that you can actually, you know, both be on the same page with. So I get it, but this is also proof that when you go through the 90-day process and you marry someone quickly, you're always taking a risk of being in for a shock. But should I say that his response to marriage life is fair? I'm going to say it's not fair. I'm going to say that he's put himself in the mindset where he's like, well, I'm not in control, so I don't like this, which is not a good way to go about it. His mindset should have been, listen, I decided to leave my country, I decided to marry this woman, okay? And now I have to do whatever I can to adapt to the situation. If I find myself in a position where I've tried for a set amount of time and adapting just hasn't worked for me and it still affects me, blah, 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 then revisit the conversation. But it seems to me as if he's acted from it straight off the bat, which isn't good.
Brought a lot of new responsibilities and duties to my life. Every morning, I mean, take the garbage out, Harper, take the dog out, Harper,
Yeah,
Harper. With her rules, I feel dependent.
To be honest, I'm really itchy nose. I don't know if it's my nose hairs. Oh, God. It's really annoying because what the fuck was that? That's it. It's crazy because the things that she's asking him to do aren't even crazy things. Like I said, he isn't fully... the man isn't fully dedicated to the relationship. It's just that simple.
Turkish, we have a saying. Instead of feeling dependent to a butcher, I cut my penis and eat it.
What? She can have lunch with me? Where's the problem? She's married now. She's just trying to respect her. She can have friends. So because she's married, she cannot have friends?
No, bro, it's just you. You're just the problem.
You changed a lot, Shekinah. Like, I haven't seen you for 4 months. I think you lost a lot of weight. And I think maybe a little too much.
Oh, my targets too. Your belly is going up.
I'm okay with my belly. Don't worry, I have a brain. You have...
It's funny how she's always asking Salpa to be nice to Dan, but never asks Dan to be nice to Salpa. But this is probably one of the reasons why Salpa can't be 100% dedicated to Shekinah, why he's not 100% in love with this woman or fully dedicated to her, you know? Because she's emotionally unavailable for him, but she's emotionally available for her friend. It's not a good look.
Why do you always say that I have to be nice?
I like to hear you guys being
When he
mean to
says
each
something,
other.
you don't say anything.
He's not insulting your
There are no horses left in the ranch. A donkey sees himself as the unicorn. You know,
my
he sees himself as the unicorn.
I mean, he's not lying though. End of the day, the fact that Dan's been around with all the women within the group, the friend group, and none of them actually wanted to actually settle down with him does prove that what he's saying. He is the unicorn. He is the spare tire that they come and use, and then that's about it. He's just a temporary replacement.
because Dan, poor Dan, he's so upset. I have to. Don't do that. You are like a spare tire. I mean, when you have a flat tire, till you go to the repair shop, you put the spare tire.
Facts upon facts upon facts upon facts.
But he says, why didn't you come and go take me to the lunch? What the
Is really interested in Shekinah?
He just wants girls that don't want him. That's the problem. Gail loves rejection. That's why he still likes me.
I don't love rejection. I like challenges.
If a man that is your friend says I like challenges, he's telling you that you're just a challenge for him. You're an obstacle. He wants to get with you just to say that I finally accomplished this challenge. Yeah, he wants that trophy. That's not. It's wild because sometimes when Dan speaks, he says things that are very good advice for relationship type stuff, but that right there tells us all why he's still single. Amongst other reasons of why we probably think he's still single.
Starper, why did you take off your ring?
She kicked me off the house. So I left the ring and I went out. I rented a rental and I went there.
That's crazy work, man. But are we surprised by this behavior between the two? Absolutely not.
How long were you there for?
10 days.
This is less than a month after we got married.
1,000% in love with her, and not 70%. Because getting on a flight doesn't mean getting a flight back to your country.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that is one of the coldest lines I've ever heard on reality TV, to be fair with you, man. Oh my days, one of the coldest lines. Ooh-wee. Simply because, obviously, Sarper's always threatening to go back to Turkey each time they have an argument, which is why this guy is not 100% dedicated to this relationship. I mean, listen, end of the day, we definitely see that Shekinah is the problem within the relationship most of the time, but the fact that she's with a man that doesn't necessarily give her 100%, no wonder why she's so problematic, because she's probably acting out to the fact that this man isn't giving her the full satisfaction of wanting it to the fullest. It seems to me as if the only time she feels like this man wants her is if they're in the bedroom, okay? And that's the only time that she won't complain if she won't give him a headache. But outside the bedroom, he doesn't do anything else to really give her that much more assurance or stability or safe haven or whatever it could be. And that's why she probably is the way he is. But at the same time, though, she also fails to do the same thing when it comes to herself and the friend. Hey ho, we continue.
In a fight.
You will lose me. You will lose me just because of you. And you will regret like a dog. I don't call you dog.
What's wrong
You will
with you?
regret like a dog.
Talk to me that way.
It's a saying.
It's a very strange saying. I don't know why would a dog regret things? Like, listen, let's not all sit here act as if Sarper's as if he's good with his words. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't take it as an offense per se, because we know obviously he has different sayings from his own country, his own culture, and they can just come across incorrectly, and also can also not make any sense, because I still don't really understand how dogs got to do with regret, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts. Obviously, we've got This Is Tell Part 1. Obviously, you got next week's one to come in as well. That one looked even more explosive than Part 1, which is fantastic. I'm just happy that the Tell All itself in particular has been better than this season, because the season itself has been absolutely atrocious. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad that the Tell has actually been quite decent, and it's been better than some of the Tells we've had before. You know, we've had seasons where the season's been better than this season, but the Tell has been trash. This Tell wasn't too bad, to be fair. They didn't waste time with fillers that wasn't needed. You know what I mean? It was all about literally the cast going back at each other throughout the whole thing, which is what we've always enjoyed the Tell All to be for. But recently with the 5-part Tell Alls, they've been adding some ones where they're just doing fillers they're now asking jokes and things that nobody cares about, you know. They probably reviewed it and saw that they were losing viewership by doing it, so they thought, you know what, let's go back to the 2-part, because the 2 parts where we was hitting better, because we was actually giving these guys content, you know. So yeah, but nonetheless though, thank you for your time. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.